Ukiwa na maswali, huyu ndio atajibu, na akipenda yeye ndio atajua vile mtakula kidogo baada ya kumaliza. Asante.
Asante sana Bwana PCS. Tafadhali tunaweza kuketi chini. Wakenya wenzangu, hamjambo? Good evening. How are you guys? Very good. Kwanza niongee Kiswahili, Kiingereza ama nini? Nichanganye? Yeah. Let me first take this opportunity to, in a very special way, thank all of you. First, for giving me and my team an opportunity to lead our great country called Kenya. It is an honor and privilege to lead an important country like Kenya, and I don't take it for granted. I know many of you voted for me, many of you prayed for me, many of you voted for my competitor, but today we are standing here as one people, the people of Kenya. Let me tell you this. I have a problem with people who don't vote. I have no problem with any Kenyan who votes for anybody, because it is through voting and through a competition that we get the best for our country so that we can move forward. So congratulations to all of you, and I want to assure you that because of the opportunity that you have given us, we want to make you proud. We want to change our country. The one thing I will tell you is that it's not going to be business as usual. It's going to be different. Are we together? Yes. Because you know, for a very long time in Kenya, Kenya has been said to be a country of great potential, which it is. But we have failed to unlock that potential, not because the citizens don't want, but because the leaders have not done their part. Many a times, listen, many times we know what is right, but sometimes it's not politically convenient to do it. So we escape doing what is right and going for what is politically right. I want to tell you, I am going to do what is right. As to whether it is convenient politically, as to whether it is popular, that is secondary to me. We must do the right thing so that we can take our country to its rightful place. All of us here, we agree that Kenya is a great place. That I believe with the whole of my heart. And I believe we can change Kenya in our lifetime. While we are here, all of us, Kenya can be that country that everybody wants to call home. And that is what we are going to do. So to you who are here today, I am very proud to be in your midst. I am very proud to be a Kenyan, and I believe together we can change this country. And so, I know there are so many things that I would have wanted to say, but I will reduce it to 3 things. Lakini sio ile mambo matatu. Yeah? Sio ile mambo matatu. Number 1, my mission is to achieve 3 things, simply. Number 1 is to unite our country. Kenya. You know, we went to the polls, we had a competition, we were told there is something called deep state, we were told there is something called system, but the people of Kenya decided. And because the people of Kenya have decided, we have no option but today to work together as leaders from the different formations, as Kenyans, from all the communities, as people from different faiths, knowing all of us that we are one people, belonging to one nation and having one destiny. That we must do. And it is the reason why you find us here in this meeting, not as Kenya Kwanza or Azimio, we are here as Kenyans. And we have come to represent our country. Today, we work together. We work together as leaders. We Kenyan, you know, to make sure that we have a country that we are proud of. And I'm going to do three things that is in our manifesto. Number one, we're going to make sure that we invest appropriately and correctly in agriculture. When I came into office, I said we are not going to subsidize consumption. We are going to invest in production. The price of unga a year and a half ago was 220. Today, it is 100 shillings because we invested correctly. We are going to continue to invest in that space, in making sure that our dairy, our horticulture, our agriculture in general has the necessary support to make sure that we enhance our production. Let me give you an example. We spend 500 billion every year to import food items into Kenya. We import maize, wheat, edible oil, rice, and all manner of things. And I have made the decision that we are going to invest in production. By next year, we will not be importing a grain of maize. We will move on to rice. We will move on to wheat. And in 5 years, the $1 billion we use to import edible oil, I want to make sure that sunflower, soya, canola, palm oil are all grown in Kenya, and we don't have to import again. Already, last year, we've started the journey on soya and sunflower. We are on course on canola. We've already gotten the seeds, and it is going to help us as a country reduce the foreign exchange that we use to import food when we can actually produce that food in Kenya. Tunaelewana? Number two is education. We need to make sure that our education is accessible, is affordable, and is relevant. And that is the reason why we have changed the funding model of our education. It wasn't working. Many of you, if you are following events in Kenya, most of our universities were struggling because they didn't have money. Because we promised them 80% scholarship, we gave them 40%, and we did nothing about it. We have changed the model, and we are going to make sure that our education is fit for purpose, equips the most important asset we have, our human capital, and to make sure that it works for Kenya and it works for where we want to, the partners that we want to work with as we deploy our labor in many parts of the world. We are spending at the moment $5 billion every year on education, $5 billion US. And we want to make sure that investment has a payback. So we are sorting out education, making sure that our education, as I said, is accessible, is affordable, and is relevant. Number three, I'm talking about cost of living. Number three, we are going to make sure that we deal with our health delivery mechanism. Why? About 1 million Kenyans every year end up in poverty because of hospital bills. I know many of you guys seated here, occasionally you are asked to pay hospital bills. True or not true? All the time. Not occasionally. I want to help you sort out that space. And what we have said is the following. We have changed the law in Kenya for delivery of health. It was not working. So we now have 4 pieces of legislation, new legislation, to make sure that we deliver universal health. We want to make sure that every Kenyan has a health insurance facility. Every Kenyan. You people who live in this country know the value of health insurance. You know that if you don't have health insurance, you are in trouble. True or not true? And that is why you hear people in Kenya calling me names, including the Zakayo you hear. Because, and I have said I don't mind being Zakayo. I don't mind. So long as we sort out our country, I have no problem. Are we together? So we want to make sure. And I have said that those who, let me put it this way, we are going to pay for health insurance on the basis of one's income. You know? The more you pay, the more you earn, the more you pay. And that is why we are saying those who cannot afford, we're going to make sure that the government of Kenya pays for them. We have said the people who are paying 500 shillings, we will do an assessment of their ability. And those whose assessment is lower, we will reduce that to about 300 shillings. And we are going to make sure that every citizen has access to health. I'm very proud of Susan Akomicha. She is in our midst, this girl here. She's doing a good job. And her team at the Ministry of Health. So we are working on that. We're going to sort out that health. If we sort out health, we sort out education, and we sort out agriculture and have enough food, we will begin the journey to spend less in that space by making sure that we reduce the cost of living. That is assignment number 2 that I have. Assignment number 3 is to create jobs. Because we have close to 5 million Kenyans who don't have jobs. Our own children, Kenyans out of school, Kenyans out of college, Kenyans out of university, and they don't have jobs. And you see, for a long time, we always said we are going to grow the economy, and then the economy is going to create jobs. This time round, we must be intentional. We must be deliberate on creating jobs. Yeah? Some of you here may have run away from Kenya because there was no job, because you didn't have a job. Many of you are, yeah? True or not true? Yes. So we must be intentional. And how are we going to create jobs? Let me give you 5 ways we are planning to create jobs in Kenya. Because, and we want to be judged. You know, this story, kuongea tu hewa, and then there is nothing. Tunaelewana? So number 1, we are going to invest in infrastructure that creates jobs. One of them is housing. Yeah? Already, as I talk to you, there are 140,000 Kenyans today who work in our housing sector who did not have jobs a year ago. It is my intention that by the 3rd year, we will have 500,000 Kenyans working in that space. And we will also create 1 million homeowners in the next 5 years. And among those homeowners are you guys who are seated here. Yeah, among those 1 million homeowners is the guys who are seated here. And so, that space, when I talk about housing, we're talking about engineers, we are talking about architects, we are talking about quantity surveyors, we're talking about electricians, we're talking about plumbers, we're talking about transporters, we're talking about that whole space has jobs, right? Number 2, you had peers here, Tanui talk about the digital space. That digital space has another almost 1 million jobs. And it is the reason why, if you read our manifesto, we said that we are going to have 100,000 kilometers of fiber optic backbone around Kenya. Every ward in Kenya is going to have an ICT hub. Because that space of digital jobs is a real space that can give us opportunities for Kenyans to work. Last week, I'm not talking about last year, I'm not talking about last month, I'm talking about last week. I was in Ruto, where we were commissioning a BPO that is going to hire 5,000 Kenyans. One BPO. The same facility, and they're going to be doing online jobs. That particular BPO by CCI has JetBlue, AT&T, all American companies. Kenyans will be working from Ruto for American companies here. That same company in the next 2 years will be hiring 20,000 Kenyans. That one company called CCI. And we have many of them who we are working with so that we can create those spaces, not just in Nairobi, not just in Ruiru, but all the other towns in Kenya. Because in the admission of the director of CCI, he said that working with Kenyans, they work in many countries, but they have the best human capital in Kenya. So while others have gold and what, we have the best jewel that anyone can have, our human capital. And we must leverage on it to drive our economy. Number 3, you heard my peers here talk about what she's doing with the diaspora. We are in the process of signing 19 bilateral labor agreements with different countries. We just concluded a bilateral labor agreement with Germany. Rosalind was in Germany. Are we done? We are done. Yes. And they have promised us 250,000 jobs. We have 19 others that we are negotiating. I am very happy that you have given me an assignment that when I meet President Joe Biden of America, you have told me you want H1A and H1B and others. Okay? That's kwani mulikuwa mnafikiri nimekuja hapo kufanya nini? Na mnajua mimi si mtalii. Si mmenipatia assignment. Sasa hiyo ndio kazi nimekujia. Are we together? And we want to work together so that the best asset that we have as a country, our human capital, we can use it to drive the economy of our country, and we can use it to make sure that citizens have incomes and they can run their affairs. So that is another assignment that I have with many other countries to make sure that because we have the best human capital, let us deploy it. Let us make sure that we have those opportunities. On that subject of creating jobs, number 4, as you are all aware, I'm going to be having a conversation with Congress on the Africa Growth and Opportunities Act, what we call AGOA. Today, we export $500 million, which is about 60, 70 billion of products into the US. I will be pushing for the renewal of AGOA, and I will also be pushing for STEEP, the Strategic Trade and Investment Partnership, so that we can have a bigger share, quota-free, duty-free to the American market. As I talk to you here today, I was in Athi River. I think that was with the ambassador of the US. We were in Athi River because there are 5 other companies that are coming to Kenya with 25,000 jobs in the space of apparels. And these good governors will tell you, we now have, and I was with the governor of Machakos, she's here. Yes, Wavinya is here. We were in that space about a month ago. And we now have 6 new special economic zones. We've just gazetted 6 new special economic zones, so that it is not the EPZ in Athi River alone. We will now have an EPZ in Busia, in Eldoret, in Nakuru, in Kirinyaga, in Mombasa, and we are exploring, CS Miano is working with other governors so that we can have enough special economic zones for us to enhance our exports. Those spaces will be for us to create more jobs. So, I'm asking you, good people, because I can talk to you for long, but I'm asking you, as you hustle here in a great country, remember that you have a home to build, and let us work together in making sure that we build that home. Hiyo kazi tutafanya pamoja. Nyinyi mko tayari tufanye hiyo kazi jameni? Let me conclude by saying that I think those are the things I wanted to say. Let me also say this one more thing, that actually two more things. That for us to be able to do this, we must develop two things. We must develop a culture of saving so that we reduce on the money that we borrow. Let me tell you this. We spend close to 800 billion shillings every year in paying monies we borrowed from others. I wish we were paying that 800 billion to Kenyans who have saved, and we are borrowing their money to drive our economy. I promised you that we are going to change the way we are saving. You know? For a very long time, we were saving 200 shillings. A long time, since independence, until late last year, 200 shillings per month. Nyinyi mnajua shilingi 200? What can 200 shillings do? 200 shillings. Ati hata mimi rais, mimi na save 200 shillings. Hiyo ni ujinga. Ama ni nini hiyo? So I said we are going to change this. Today, you know, we had a big quarrel with many people, including Atwoli and others, and who. But I told them, look, we must, let me put it this way. Kenya was rated among the countries that are almost at the bottom on matters age-old poverty. Because if you are saving 200 shillings, the day you retire, you will be paid 40,000 or 70,000. 70,000 within 2 weeks, your pesa imeisha, and you go straight into poverty and you die. So what have we done? We changed the law. Now every Kenyan is saving 6% of their earnings, and every employer is also paying 6% of their earnings. I am very confident that in the next 15 years, all the money we are borrowing, we will not be borrowing money from China and this other place and that other place. We will be borrowing money from our own savings. Nyinyi mnanielewa? Imagine for 60 years, we have only saved 320 billion. 60 years, kwa sababu ya kusave 100, sijui 200, sijui ngapi. But the good news, in the next 4 years, maybe less, maybe 3 years and some months, we will have doubled the money we have saved for 60 years. We will double it in 3 years. We have increased, mnataka mnisikize vizuri. We have increased our savings every month from 1.3 billion to 7.5 billion. And there is no miracles required, and there is no magic required. It's just firm, decisive, clear leadership, period. Hakuna miujiza inatakikana. We just need to make the right decisions. The other thing which I want you to help me with is to ask us as Kenyans, the responsibility to build Kenya is ours. We are the people responsible for Kenya. Kenyans are the people responsible for Kenya. This country, you have seen the roads in this country. Si wao ndio sasa nyinyi mnafikiri ati Kenya itajengwa na wa Chinese ama itajengwa na wa Marekani? Sisi ndio tutajenga. So tafadhali, you people who have a payslip here, payslip yenu iko na mlolongo ya taxes ama hakuna? Na ni fupi ama ni mrefu? Alafu si mlolongo ya taxes ni mrefu hapa. That is how you build a country, my friends. You don't build a country because of debts. Ati kukopa hapa na kukopa pale. You build your country using your own taxes. So, muniite Zakayo, muniite nini, lakini tulipe tax tujenge Kenya. Ama mnasemaje? Tuko pamoja? So tafadhali mwambieni wale ndugu zetu wako nyumbani, mwambie hapa mnalipa tax. Na mnalipa tax kwa nchi ambayo si yenu. Ama? Yes. So tufanye hivyo, so that I want to say it is the most patriotic thing to do. It is the biggest defense you have for your independence, is to pay tax and build your country. The assurance I have given the people of Kenya is that their money must be safe. Their money must be used for what it is intended to do. It is even the reason why 2 weeks ago I operationalized the Public Benefits Organizations Act, so that we can get more people even from the civil society wakuja wa supervise wakora, so that kama kuna wakora huko ndani watangazwe, tuwapeleke kotini na tuwafunge, so that Kenya iweze kusonga mbele. That's what I'm saying. Mumenielewa? Hivyo ndio mimi nataka tusaidiane tuchenge Kenya jameni. Tutasaidiana hivyo? Yes, that's how we are going to have a country. That's how we are going to build Kenya. And that is my mission in this great country. I just promise you, mimi nataka niwaahidi tu kitu kimoja. I will make you guys proud. Hiyo ndafanya bidii. Ndasukumana kabisa na hii kibarua, ndasukumana mbaya sana. So otherwise I want to say to appreciate the invitation by President Joe Biden and the American people to me. I know it's a great honor that I become an African state, head of state to receive such an invitation in almost 2 decades. It shows the strength of the partnership between Kenya and the US, and it also demonstrates the respect that the US has in the people of Kenya. And therefore, I want to say I am very proud that I am here this evening. If you find me a bit not very coherent, it is 4 a.m. at home. Sasa naongea lala, lakini kwa sababu naona hata nyinyi mmeng'ang'ana, mmekuja kwa wingi, and I'm told you've come from different towns. I really, really want to appreciate that you have found time to come and share these moments with me. And I want to assure you that as a team, we're going to work hard. We're going to make sure that we make a difference in our country. So, and we need your support. Maybe we are beginning to the early stages, maybe in a year or so, we might have an opportunity to have a diaspora bond so that you people can invest. Sindio, already you know the Nairobi Stock Exchange, if you don't have the news, it was the least performing, but today it is the best performing in the world, Nairobi Stock Exchange. So kama uko na marupurupu kidogo, utajua vile ya kufanya. Sindio? There is a good investment opportunity back at home. So otherwise, I know many of the other issues will be answered by Roslyn and her team at the Diaspora Department. They're doing a good job. I know many of you consular services, I know sometimes you ask about taxation back at home. I want to assure you that the law in Kenya today gives you a tax rebate. If you are paying taxes in America, those taxes you pay here, we will not require you to pay at home. Because we do not want to tax a Kenyan twice. If you have paid here, you cannot pay there. That is how we have changed the law. But we want you to come home so that you can come and pay taxes at home so that you can. So otherwise, I am truly grateful for the moments that we have shared today. I can answer one or two questions because I know there is a meal before us, and I'm hungry and sleepy. So you can see that combination is not very good. So, but I can take maybe one gentleman and one lady some questions. Yes, there is a gentleman there in a maroon shirt and a nice tie. You can say something. And then the lady, you are not the lady, there is a lady there, yes. Stand up, lady there. You can stand up, madam, yeah. Haya, uliza maswali, boss.
Mr. President, I'm honored to be in your presence. My name is Tom Mongosi. I am from New York. But I am a very, how can I say, I'm a diaspora farmer. In that, I mean, I do a lot of acreages in Narok for wheat. But I know, I'm not too sure, but I know it came to your attention that this planting season, I lost over 250,000 on fake fertilizer, which was sold to us by the National Cereal and Produce Board. So from your office and from the ministry that is standing in for agriculture, as farmers, we are suffering on this end of getting things that really, I'm not sure if the government knows or the government has party to it or what it is that you need to tell us as farmers, because I'm trying to fight for my refund of all the almost 100 bags I got for fake fertilizer.
I will answer you right away. Number one, we asked every farmer who bought fertilizer that was finally identified not to be good to register. And 7,000 farmers registered. And already we have started compensation of every farmer. You will get equivalent fertilizer without having to pay. Every farmer. That is number one. That is number one. And number two, we have taken the managing director of Cereals Board and all his team. They are now waiting for prosecution. We have already sent them out of office, and we are going to deal with them firmly and conclusively. Are we together? So we will not only refund you, we will not only give you, replace your fertilizer, but we are also going to deal with the crooks. Yes, let me, the lady.
I want to tell you, thank you so much for coming to Atlanta, Georgia. We are very excited to have you here. To introduce myself, my name is Jonelle Carol Menifee. It's my mother and partner, Carol Menifee. And we represent Solar Time USA. And we have a company in Kenya called Nice Solar Time Kenya. And our focus is mainly solar.
Excuse me, madam. Your English is a bit... Can you try Kiswahili? Maybe. ama kidogo upunguze the twang imenipita kidogo. I'm sorry.
Very interested in rural development when it relates to farmers, when it relates to underdeveloped communities. Is that slow enough? Just want to understand your administration's program for last mile connectivity and making sure that as Kenya develops, it doesn't leave the rural community behind.
Are you talking about electricity?
That too.
What was What? Okay. Sorry, I had to get some translation. I now know what you want. It is true. It is true that we have a program on electricity and the last mile connectivity. And it's a program that we have worked on for the last 10 years. And in fact, in 2018, the number of households that were connected to electricity were 2.3 million. Today, we have 10 million households connected to electricity. And this year, in our budget this year, we have 12 billion shillings that is going to go towards that program of last mile connectivity. I agree with you that is a very important program, and it gives us an opportunity to connect more homes, especially now that we are moving into a digital space. We are digitizing government services, and therefore it is necessary for citizens to have means of charging gadgets that they can use to access government services. So we have a plan, as I have told you, that's already funded in our budget. So, and forgive me if I didn't understand hapo Kiingereza yako ndio imenichanganya kidogo, lakini ni sawa. There is another lady there. Let me listen to the lady in blue and a nice hairstyle.
Good evening. Thank you very much, Mr. President and Her Excellency, the First Lady. All protocols are observed. My name is Mbula Musau. I'm from Nairobi, Kenya. I'm very happy to be here in Atlanta with the coffee delegation. I work in coffee. And I was very happy to hear you talk about the reduction of imports of certain products that Kenya imports. And I'm here just to, I know that you're doing a lot of work on coffee reforms in Kenya, and we truly appreciate you. We're supportive of the power that's going back to farmers and to growers so that they can earn more from what God has endowed us in coffee. Now, my question is, would there be additional ways of getting Kenya to reduce on the imports of the low-quality coffees. Kenya has been a dumping ground of low-quality coffees from around the world, which sometimes stifles our internal market, making us unable to counter or negotiate because all the prices are basically pushed on us. Is there any way to help us be able to improve our local market, even as we look at AfCFTA? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Three things that we are doing. Number one, in the next cabinet meeting that I'm going to have, we will be approving a write-off of 6 billion Kenya shillings for coffee farmers so that we can reduce debts on coffee farming. Number two, if you look at our budget this year, Kimani Ichung'wah, who is here with me, will tell you we have another 2 billion shillings that we have put for cherry fund to support farmers where they can have an intervention as they wait for auctions that will give them the correct price, because our intention is to push the money that is available to farmers beyond 100 shillings per kilo. So that is the next assignment that we are working on. Number three is that we are going to be working on incentives to make sure that our coffee, our premium coffee, is marketed appropriately, efficiently, globally, because we have some of the best coffee anywhere in the world. So those are the three things we are doing in the coffee space. Thank you very much, Mbula. We have a gentleman in a bishop. We have a bishop there. Please, 1 minute, Bishop.
Yes, Your Excellency, thank you very much. A year ago, I wrote a book about you, and my efforts to present this book to you have been fruitless. Okay. Kindly allow me to present it to you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much.
It is a profile in humility, hard work, and resilience. Mr. President, thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, my brother. Thank you very much, Bishop. Okay, let me take from that desk there, maybe. Yes, maybe that, but the lady. The lady. We exchange men and women like that. We must be gender sensitive. Okay, there is a lady there. She will be the last one. Yes.
First of all, I want to say thank you so much. We see your work. We see you traveling, and I'm so proud of you. My name is Irene Masai. I'm from Eldoret. I just want to touch on two things. I feel there has been a higher rate of women that have been killed. We see it on social media. Is there something that you are putting forward to kind of prevent like gender-based violence? And also about if you see less women have resources on their name, is there an office that can help that more than men? And another thing is disability. My friend wanted to ask that. I can give him.
Okay, you have no authority to hand over the microphone to somebody. Let me answer Madam Masai there. Yes, there has been at some point an upsurge of femicide in Kenya, and we took steps as government to make sure that facilities, especially Airbnb facilities that were the main epicenter of that exercise, we've put in new regulations to demand that such facilities must have a record of who frequents, who uses those facilities, so that we can, and we've also insisted that there must be CCTV cameras to make sure that it is clear and known who is using what facilities. Ever since we took the steps as government to secure those places, and also we have sensitized citizens to make sure that they don't deal with people who they don't know who they are. We have since seen a reduction of those incidences, and we are trying to see how we can profile women better. In fact, last week on Friday, Wednesday. Last week on Wednesday, I presided over a pass-out parade of our military. And we had, for the first time, the highest ever women who graduated as military officers, 1,020 women. We also want to populate the security space with women so that they can genderize security and make sure that we facilitate more women to play a role in that space. And finally, I have a gender advisor in my office at the level of at the level actually of minister in my office, and we are working together to see how we can influence policy, we can change programs to make sure that they are gender sensitive, because it is in any case a requirement of our constitution. Thank you very much. Okay. I don't want to be... this gentleman has put up his hand from the beginning. Give him a mic. This good gentleman. Yes. And please, just one question.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. I'm a diasporan who's been here for 4.5 years, straight from Kenya, having gone through the education system in Kenya. I'm proud owner of a edtech company employing over 10 people in Kenya, who has graduated over 70 Kenyan students, thanks to the support of the ambassador office and the educational attaché and everyone. Now, my question is, I'm doing coding for kids, and I'm proposing that, if possible, AI be part of the system. But again, I have an investor who decided to donate computers to take to the county. And so the problem is, I'm told that even at the extent of trying to support my people back home, I have to pay taxes for the computers that have been donated to us. So the question is, I know you talk about paying taxes, right? Do you have to pay for the donations that are going to support our people, so that somebody in the village somewhere, Karachunye, where I come from, can also have opportunity to be standing and talking to us like I do? Thank you.
Okay. Now, I know that we run into trouble with donations all the time, and even for hospitals and even for other facilities. The trouble is, when we change the law, actually not the law, when we change the constitution, it removes any power. Originally, the minister for finance had power to waive taxes for certain categories. Unfortunately, when that power was abused, when we made the new 2010 constitution, that power was actually removed from anybody. Is that correct, Mr. Ichung'wa? Yes. Can you help me answer that question? Give him a mic so that he can tell you, because this gentleman is not only the leader of majority, he was our chairman of the budget committee. Mr. Ichung'wa?
Thank you, Excellency. It's indeed true that the Constitution does not allow the minister now the latitude to amend any tax laws. That can only be done by the institution of Parliament through the famous finance bill. So if there was any exemption that would be given, it would only come through the legislation, through an institution, not an individual.
So that's the trouble we have for now. Well, maybe it was an overkill by the makers of the Constitution of Kenya, but they wanted to protect abuse of those powers that were being used to favor individuals from friends and things like those. So that is the trouble we have with that. But that should not discourage you from doing what you have to do, and we will see maybe PS Tanui and your team. You may want to see what can we do to facilitate people who want to assist us. The other problem that we also have is we have a big challenge also of e-waste. So we will have a problem if we bring computers that after a year or so will be obsolete, and then it becomes our problem to dispose them. So hapo iko kuchanganyikiwa kidogo, so we will know how to deal with it. Sasa nyinyi kwani tutalala hapa ama tutafanya namna gani? Tulale hapa? So who will huyu mrembo amesimama hapa na kofia. Amesimama for long. And then who else is going? Let me take two. The gentleman behind there and that other gentleman behind there, finito. Hiya, yes, madam. Okay. Iko watu bahali yake ya bandera pande hiyo. Haya. Madam.
So thank you very much, Your Excellency, for this opportunity. My question, kindly, I would like to direct to the CEO for Safaricom. I don't know whether he's still around, Mr. Ndegwa.
Mr. Ndegwa, are you here? Yes, Ndegwa is right there.
So now, my name is Washeke, and I'm the founder of Data Networks Learning. Data Networks Learning is a tech bootcamp registered in Arizona, and we are training currently on, the tech courses in analytics, in analytics with machine learning, data engineering, business analysis, and artificial intelligence. So we are training globally, Mr. Ndegwa, and my question is, regarding those students who are training online from Kenya, is there a way that maybe Safaricom can give them the corporate exposure, maybe through internship, and then from those internships, maybe they can gain the right technical skills to be even absorbed by the market? So I've kindly directed this question to Mr. Ndegwa, being the CEO of one of the biggest ICT company in Africa. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Ndegwa, you have some. Let me say the following, just to contextualize what my sister is saying, and even in what Ndegwa is going to say. The tech space, you all know that space is a space where Kenya has a lot of traction. We have a lot of innovators. We have a lot of creatives in that space. And just for your information, among the agreements we are going to be signing day after tomorrow is a $1 billion investment by Microsoft in Naivasha for a data center. Yeah, for a data center that is not only going to be used by Kenya, but by the region, working with G42, which is a UAE company. So the space around tech, we are really ahead, but I don't want to. Peter, you can.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Your Excellency. So a couple of things. So I think I think first I want to acknowledge that the President is the biggest supporter in terms of driving ICT as the accelerator for our economic and social development in the country. And part of that is actually developing talent. So very happy we have partnered with about 15 companies to get internships, training, or in the areas you are talking about. Happy to and also for any diaspora who is in this area, we are very, very happy to support the actual skill building in this area as part of our own social and economic support of a very, very important part. In any case, they will benefit our organizations and our country.
Thank you very much. I am informed that we have run out of time. So I want to say to all of you, you guys are very good. Asante sana. God bless you. And I love you guys very much. God bless.